Welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Pacific Calls. I am Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver. You going to speak now, or you want me to go ahead and introduce our guest?
You know what? You just go ahead and introduce our guest. I think you've said enough already, Jeff.
Our guest from the University of North Texas at Oklahoma, otherwise known as OU. Our best college football team in the state of Texas is in Norman, Oklahoma. Mr. Daniel Carter. Daniel, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Where are you from originally?
Raleigh, a little town outside of Raleigh, North Carolina.
And you came to OU just for the meteorology school?
Well, I tell my parents that, but really it was to hunt. But, you know, I tell my parents that.
So growing up in North Carolina, did you hunt a lot of swans or what did you
Man,
go after?
I never hunted swans when I was a kid, man. Drawing a permit is a lot harder than people think. I went 6 years without drawing a permit.
Because, like, what's that like? I mean, that's like the state. If you want to kill a swan, North Carolina is one of the states that you go to.
Yeah, if you want to kill a swan, if you draw a permit, you will kill one. There's no, like, you're not going to kill one, you know? I mean, there was fields down there that I scouted that had 25, 30,000 swans on it, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. And, you know, those birds are big. They take up a lot of room on those fields.
Now, how many can you kill? You get a permit. Is it
one per year?
One per year. Yep, you get one per year. And if you wound one and you don't recover it, it counts. That's your permit. That's it.
That's crazy. So what is it about North Carolina that draws all these swans in it?
Is it just East Coast?
Yeah, being on the East Coast, man, that the ocean, just like the sea ducks, man, they absolutely love it in North Carolina.
A lot of food there for them.
Yeah,
it's the place for that.
Now,
go.
Is that where they winter at? Like when swans get there, that's where they stay?
When they get there, that's where they stay until they go back north. That is like the place to be.
That was one of the big market hunting areas back in the early 1900s. Cause I've got a couple of books on them, and it talks about really some cool stuff. I had a guy from North Carolina that hunted with me 30 years ago, and he was an interesting old guy. He did not start duck hunting until season ended because there was too much pressure on him during season. And his limit was a sack of ducks.
Really?
They'd go out and kill a burlap sack of ducks. And
was his dad a fucking market hunter? Or what?
His dad and grandpa both were. And he was a professional gambler, drinker, partier, carouser, and poacher. And he lived in Almirada, Florida, and fished. And he'd go back home in North Carolina and shoot ducks in the off season when everybody else was done. But he was an interesting guy.
Did he ever get busted?
Nope, never got caught. Because he told me one time, he said the key to doing it is you use corn, but you dye it black. You put it in black food coloring. That way, when the feds fly over the top, they can't see it on the water.
Yeah, listen, a lot of people do that still to this day. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, I noticed from talking to him that there's not a big difference between southern Louisiana and that area, that low country, and what do they call the area in North Carolina?
I mean, it's just a lowland. You know, it's originally called the Outer Banks. You know, you're shooting ducks in the Outer Banks, and in those big old, you know, just tide pools basically, where a lot of people go and, you know, fish as well, but a lot of people just like to shoot ducks in them.
About a lot of backwoods rednecks there, huh?
Yeah. So that's a lot of our hunting.
So you lived on the Outer Banks. So I got a question for you. Okay, I like the show Outer Banks. How many chicks are running around looking like that little hot little blonde that don't wear a bra on that show?
Well, okay, so we have a beach house on the Outer Banks, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, you can walk around and you'll see a lot of people like that.
Woo, I'd be walking around a lot.
But I mean, that show is really true. The kooks and the pogues, the rich people and the poor people. I mean, it's a real truth on the coast.
So there really is a kook and a pogues. I just thought that was a TV.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like the actual like term came from the TV show. But like that is actually a very real thing in society, like it down in there. You have the people that live on the island, which are the kooks, and then the people that live inland are the pogues. You know, they don't have the money to be able to live on the island and stuff.
I bet the pogues are more fun to hang out with then.
Absolutely.
Now, are they inviting to outsiders?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on who you're around and who you're with. You know, there's a lot of big old like redneck boys that live, you know, on the inland side, and like he was saying with the poaching, you know, that's a huge thing too with those boys. I mean, we have a huge problem with the fishery with poaching. You know, catching way too many fish and keeping way too many fish.
That's crazy. So, you got drawn. How many swans have you shot?
0.
None? You've never been drawn?
Nope.
I thought you said you got drawn one year.
He's 19 years old. He said for 6 years he didn't.
Yeah, I went 6 years. I only started applying when I was like 12, and I applied from when I was 12 to 18 and never got one. And then now I live in Oklahoma, so
might never happen.
I don't.
So are you a sophomore though? You're a freshman.
I'm a sophomore.
So are you still having to live in the dorm?
No, I am in a house with some friends. Thank goodness. The dorms were horrible.
Are you a frat daddy?
I am in a Christian fraternity on campus.
Well, it's still a fraternity though.
Yeah, it is.
Some of the funnest chicks I ever dated were Christian preachers' daughters.
Yep, that's what they say, the preacher's daughter.
So I saw the cross behind you, and you're a young man of God, and I think that is wonderful, and we need more of that. So God bless you and your family for raising you that way.
Good transition, Jeff.
From what?
You were about to go down a path of debauchery with this poor kid.
What was I going to do?
And then he was sure to throw out to you, listen, I am in a Christian fraternity.
He listens to this podcast.
So,
you know how I am, aren't you?
That
was a very
No.
well executed transition.
When I look at this young man right here and I see that cross and I see those ducks and geese on the deal, I'm not dealing with Mikey Soberano. I knew that from time one, as soon as I talked to this young man.
Oh. And you're on time. Your hair's not greasy. It doesn't look like you combed your hair with a pork chop. Like there's a lot that distinguishes you from Mikey.
Let me tell you, Mikey came and stayed with us for 4 days, for 3 months, I guess, last week. What did he do, Andy, already?
So him and Gabriel, we had a couple days off, and they wanted to go teal hunting. Well, they hit me up and say, hey, can we borrow the spinners that you've been using, the Lucky Ducks? So, yeah, no problem. Give them the 2 spinners I've been using with 4 wings. That's the important part of this. So I finally have clients, and Mikey's at breakfast, and I say, hey, Mikey, I need to get those. I tell Gabriel, Gabriel, I need those spinners for this morning. Okay, they're in Mikey's pickup. Mikey goes to his pickup, hands me 2 spinners and 3 wings. I said, Mikey, I gave you 4 wings. You've had these spinners 2 days. I need the other wing. Oh, fuck. So he looks like, what's the movie? Uncle Buck, where he's like looking for a wrench or whatever. He's just throwing shit in his pickup, and, there's half-eaten corn dogs he's pitching to the side, and, there's, I would say condom wrappers, but that'd be a lie. It's just a madness. It's like Pigpen. Throwing everything out of his pickup, tore his pickup apart looking for this one wing. Well, we're 15 minutes in, and I'm like, he's not going to find it. Open a box of another Lucky Duck that we have. I take the wing out of it, and then finally, as I'm walking outside, he's doing this number like, I got the wing. And he finally found it after about 15 minutes. But had I not said, hey, I need 4 wings, he would have just given me 3 and walked about his life. No problem at all.
So anyways, you're no comparison to Mikey. So let me ask you about this. Before we get into all this stuff with you, because you're an interesting young man, a Christian fraternity, what's it like?
Yes,
do y'all have hazing and stuff to get into this? Or what's the...
Man, we really try not to, and I think the biggest thing with us is it's the fun in it, it's not the crappy stuff, getting into that, we really like to have fun in our fraternity, and we like to praise God and praise Christ as best as we can on campus.
So
do y'all have parties? Like
we do, but we typically don't drink at our parties. Just kind of chill and, have fun with some guys.
See, I could have been in a Christian fraternity because I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
I could have. And I believe in God, and I'm a Christian. Now, are there some hot chicks coming to these things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm game. I'm there. Right there, Andy. Is it too old for me to join your fraternity?
I mean, technically, if you become a student at OU, you could join.
Well,
if you take one class, you could do it.
So here's the deal. If Michelle gets hit by a bus or something, I decide, you know what? Hey, I'm going to go back to meteorology school because I would enjoy that. I could be like, what was that show with Rodney Dangerfield?
Coming to America.
No, that's Eddie Murphy. Rodney Dangerfield. Get back to school. So that could be. You two guys are too young for that. Okay, you're a meteorology student. I love meteorology. Yes, you're friends with Reed Timmer.
Yes, sir.
I'm a big fan of Reed Timmer's. I want to go chase tornadoes with Reed Timmer. Can you make this happen for me?
I most possibly can.
Most possibly.
There's always most possibly. You know, there's always the factors of. It's also Reed, man. And if you know Reed by any means, he is the most spontaneous, craziest person you'll probably ever meet.
Well,
I mean, he
needs to learn how to buy. He needs to learn how to think about buying gas until it's too late. He's really bad about that.
Yep.
I would be more fun than Gizmo, his dog. I could drive because he needs someone to drive so he can do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I speed, so we would get there a little faster.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
I would be the perfect person to go with Reed, and he can just let me drive one day. But I'm telling you, if I could call a favor for someone, I don't need Sammy Hagar tickets. I'm going to see Elton John. I did get that done. Any of that stuff. But getting to ride with Reed Timmer and chase tornadoes, I would take that as a personal thing that someone done for me that I would be indebted to you. So I'm just throwing that out there at you, okay?
I think we will definitely have to get that done. Absolutely have to get that done. That
would make my day. So are we going to have a cold winter this year, Mr. Meteorology son?
Man, I think it's going to be a lot like last year. I think there's going to be a really warm part. And then I don't know if you remember after season that huge deep freeze.
Well, yeah, we all remember that. Everybody in America remembers that. But you're not telling us anything we want to hear.
I think that's going to happen earlier this year.
Well, how early? Like November?
Like no, not November. I wish. Man, I was looking at models and it was still saying like late October. Looking at like the CFS 756 like forecast. It's still saying like 75 degrees in North Dakota in the middle of October.
Right. You need to explain to all the people that aren't weather people, because me and you are talking above Andy right now. Explain to Andy what that means.
I know exactly what it means.
Well, hold on, just a minute. What's it mean, Andy?
Chicken fried steak.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me what it means.
A CFS is basically a forecast model that they use, and there's like, if you go on this website called Pivotal Weather, it'll show you every single forecast model there is. And if you go through it, there's like certain ones that only go out to like 84 hours or like 24 hours, you know, but this one goes out for 768 hours, which is just ridiculous, or 784, ridiculously far in the future, 32 days.
And how accurate is it?
I'm not going to say it's 100% accurate by no means.
But like, are we talking 50-50? Like,
close.
are we within? Okay.
I mean,
so in this model, it says it's 75 is the highs in the North Dakota. Is that plus or minus 15? Is it plus or minus 5? Like, how close?
I'm going to give it a plus or minus 15 most likely, but I don't think it's going to be over 75.
Right,
so I'm just going to say, I'm going to say under.
Right.
Definitely going under on it if I was a betting man. So
it could be 75 to 60 degrees. In that range is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not you're not telling us anything that's positive.
Now, no, hold on now. Let's change this. For us personally, that don't bother me that much because we're not going to be pushing as many specs away.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
So for
Y'all
us,
won't be pushing specs out.
And Cody Crook called me today or texted me, and he said he saw his first 2 flocks of white fronts today. Did you get that too?
Luke texted me.
Luke texted you same thing then?
Yes.
Okay. Well, and they run together, but. I'm curious tomorrow with this cold front if we will see some specks here. I don't think we will, but I wouldn't be. But if we did see one, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not be shocked.
No.
I think that y'all are going to see a lot of teal push down there.
Well, we need that
more than anything. The rest of the teal that are left,
right?
I think there's going to be a lot that push down, especially South Dakota is getting down to like 45 tonight. I think that's going to push a lot of birds out of there. Which for teal, 45, that's cold.
Okay.
I think that's going to push a lot of birds down.
I'm on Pivotal Weather right now. Go to models and CFS.
What does CFS stand for? Central Forecast Station?
No.
Don't get me
honestly,
lying to you.
Oh, Jesus. I'm with two weather experts. And
No. He's a weather expert. I'm just a.
I'm with one weather expert and an amateur gynecologist, and I can't get an answer. So what are you looking for, Jeff?
I'm wanting him to walk me through to where this. I've never seen this model that goes out that far on this one.
Oh yeah, the CFS goes. Yeah, it's 768 hours.
Okay, that's and that's.
And if you go to it, hit continental U.S. and then go to your. Well, it doesn't actually have region in this one. It just has like the continental U.S.
I'm looking at it right now.
You go to your loop, and I mean, literally, you can go super far out. You'll see when you're hopefully going to get some rain, some precipitation. Way out there.
So how do they come up with these models? They just look at everything that's kind of shaping up around the world, and then it goes into a bunch of algorithms and.
Yeah,
best
so
guess?
Really, a lot of meteorology is based on history.
Okay.
Like when these exact conditions happened, 36 years ago, what occurred?
Right.
And that's what they kind of base it off of. And I'm sure Jeff knows all about this with tornado chasing. That's literally how they base severe days. They're gonna say when these exact conditions occurred, this is what happened. Last year or 2020 during COVID, May 20th was supposed to be a huge day for Oklahoma tornado-wise because the models were the exact same of the 2013 Moore tornado, which was an EF5. The models were like identical to it, but it ended up busting because the cap never broke.
That's right.
Yeah, horrible bust. It ended up completely busting. Which was a good thing because I mean that was literally like a high over the metro.
It was boring for us though.
Yeah. Very boring for chasers.
We had the same thing happen in 2018 or 19, and we let our kids out of school here early even one day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they caught that locally. Listen, I don't want to brag, but I'm the Damon Lane of Knox County. So anytime,
Jeff is the guy people call
all the time. Weather stuff, my phone. And then what's bad is when I'm chasing storms, my phone's blowing up from people, and they're like, "Listen, I ain't got time to answer everybody's question." What gets me is people that can't look at a damn radar. How hard is it to pull up a freaking radar?
Dude, I just want people to understand how to use radar scope.
Yes.
Radar scope is the easiest thing in the world to use, and it literally tells you if there's a tornado.
Yep.
Like it is the easiest thing in the world to use. I hate when people pull up like the My Scope radar or something, and it's just a big blob of green, and it's like, oh, it's raining.
Yep.
And I'm like, there's a lot more going on than just rain.
That's exactly right.
So which ones I have?
Radar Scope is the one I have.
Radar Scope.
Yeah, I use both.
You don't like my radar? You don't like my radar?
It's not as good as Radar Scope is.
Radar Scope.
Radar Scope, yeah. And if you're in an area that gets severe weather, I highly recommend just buying the Pro for it. It's well worth it.
$39.95 a year, I think.
Well worth it.
What makes it worth it versus the free app?
It's got signatures. It shows circulation. It shows everything.
Vorticity, everything. I mean, literally, like, if you look at it and you're like, man, I need to know if this has rotation, you can go to the setting and it'll show the rotation.
Yep.
Right.
Where it's at,
I will. That's the way when I call you and say there's golf ball size hail 10 miles south of town.
Right.
It's because of that radar.
Yep.
And that's what I look at, and that's why I know when there's hail going to come. And it's funny when you tell people, we've got big hail coming. It'll be here in about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it doesn't hail. Then because it falls, hail cores go up and down all the time, and it don't hail. And then 10 miles down the road, it hails again. And I'm like, well, golly, you lied to us, didn't it? And then when you don't, you say, fuck it, I won't tell you then. And then you don't tell them, why didn't you let us know? Well, with hail, you never know. It comes and goes. What's the biggest hailstorm you've been in?
Honestly, not that big. Those two really good chase days last year, March 13th and then April 27th, neither of those had super big hail that I was ever in. April 27th had some big hail that we started to go into, and then we got out of it. But I haven't been anything big. I was actually chasing in DFW.
It's a bad place to be.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was sometime in late April we were chasing a moderate. We chased DFW. We ended up getting a tornado that day. It was really, really good. But we were literally outrunning CD size hail for 45 minutes, going 70 miles an hour down back roads because we didn't want to get hit by it,
I got into some hail at Elk City, Oklahoma 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it was baseball to softball size hail. That's the biggest hell I've ever been into. I was at the March 13th was up at Happy, Texas, and LaFour's and all that.
Yes.
And the biggest hell we got into that day was probably pea size and a little bit bigger, but a lot of tornadoes that day. It was a fun day to chase.
It was a great day to chase. I mean, we started all the way down. I can't even remember what the town was called,
Lubbock
honestly.
First.
Yeah. Okay. So we started in Memphis, I believe, and then we went all the way up to Claude, and then chased down the line. We chased the Claude tornado, then we got the Clarendon tornado, and then we got the Happy tornado.
Yep. We were
all in that same line.
So do you?
But yeah, I think the biggest hail we got.
I mean, coming from North Carolina, was the first time you saw a tornado out when you got to Oklahoma?
No, actually, I was in high school my junior year, and a tornado literally came through my high school in EF2.
Like while were y'all in school, like under your desk?
Yeah, we were in. I was the only reason why we took cover, because nobody else in the school knew what the heck they were talking about. I literally ran to our office in my high school, and I was like, "Look, you need to get on the announcements right now, and you need to tell them to get in cover because there's literally a tornado coming." Literally went straight through our high school.
Ooh, damn.
Went right through.
So what were you doing? You were looking at like.
Man, I was looking at radar scope, and I was just like, man, this looks bad, you know. And then I get the alert on my phone, and it's like tornado warning. Then there was a vorticity signature, and then there was a rotation signature, and I was like, we need to get in cover now, you know. One of our teachers ended up going outside after I said that because they just didn't believe me, and they literally look, and there's a tornado they can see from the high school. And they run inside. I have never seen my teacher run that fast in his life.
So were you fascinated with weather before that? You've always been fascinated with weather?
Yeah, my entire life, man. Growing up in North Carolina, hurricanes were a huge thing. And I think the biggest thing that got me hooked is that I saw those weathermen being able to get people out of places and evacuate places and being able to help those people. Sure. And that's something I want to do in my life. Is be able to help people.
So you want to be a TV? You want to be a TV meteorologist?
Man, I am currently in the broadcast meteorology program at OU, but honestly, I don't know because I've kind of fallen in love with this whole waterfowl thing, you know. And I would love to work for the wildlife department, you know, and try to study how this weather affects, you know, the migration of waterfowl and stuff.
Well, maybe you could become a biologist and have pull some of their heads out of their asses, because most of those guys I've noticed ain't very smart. Is that safe to say, Andy? You're not disagreeing with me on this one, are you?
Pretty safe.
So, do you know Damon Lane?
I do not. He likes my tweets and comments on my tweets all the time about weather, but I've never met him personally.
He used to be in Abilene, Texas.
Right.
Really?
I didn't. He's got the coolest job. If you're going to be a meteorologist, Oklahoma City or Wichita, Kansas, I think would be the two coolest places to be.
I agree.
I've chased a lot of storms because when Oklahoma City is going to get bad, and they haven't had it in a couple of years, they do a lot of live news where he runs all the time, and they've got Val Castor and his wife are doing their thing, and they break in all the time. Yeah. So I hawk off that, and I'll listen to the radio, and I'll keep up with the TV saying. And I cheat and go that way a lot of times. Yeah, no, I absolutely would. I mean, they're a huge lifeline for chasers as well. Just having a weather radio or anything like that, is great for chasers. I'm a big time hawker on that because I'm not a meteorologist. I can't tell you the name of the clouds. I can tell you where a tornado is going to be, and I watch it, and I love to do it. But I don't pretend to be a meteorologist. I just can read a lot and study and steal from a lot of other people. So
what's crazy is
excuse me.
You want to be you're right now you're in broadcast meteorology, but with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, you almost could reach more people if you could build the audience. Like Joe Bastardi, I mean
Reed Timmer.
I
mean Reed Timmer is literally the name of the game for that. You know, he had his own TV show. He had everything. You know, he is the name of the game for social media weather, and that's why Twitter weather is so big. Yeah. Everybody uses Twitter for their weather.
Yeah, it's crazy. You almost if you can play your cards right and build up a good enough reputation, you don't have to get in front of a camera when weather starts to break, because you could reach people globally. You could live in Oklahoma and be like, hey, this is going on in North Carolina. You got hurricane coming. Seek cover.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're for a local news network, those are the only people that you're reaching is when weather events occur in that area. So
Yep.
it's a crazy time to be alive. I mean, it really, from top to bottom.
Joe Pistardi, too. I was reading his deal the other day. Are you familiar with Joe?
Yes.
Joe has got, there's a lot of cities that subscribe to him and pay him a salary. I mean, he's doing really, really well for himself. But one of the cities was surprised that they had the flooding the other day from the hurricane. He's like, well, I had 3 clients that's in that metro area, and they all knew and were prepared and ready to go.
Right.
You know, and he does. I read a lot of his stuff, especially when it comes to winter weather. And actually, young man, he said the same thing you did about us going to have a major another big polar vortex. He says it's going to be earlier. I can't get him to commit to November time frame, but I wish he would.
I don't think it'll be November. But I think it will happen earlier this year than it did last year.
Well, I hope it's while the days are still short and not when they start getting longer.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that there's any way that the government can control the weather?
No.
No.
I'm with you.
Not at all. You don't think there's something on the North Pole and they're sending this shit in February or whenever?
I don't care what people say. No.
There's no HARP
absolutely
system.
Not.
There's no HARP system?
There's no HARP system. It is not, like, physically, it is not possible to produce weather that large.
Okay.
Like, I mean, there's just no way it could be done, you know? Like, and I'm not going to say you couldn't make something to make, like, a small little rain cloud in the sky, you know?
Because they do cloud seeding in, what, Dubai?
Exactly.
They do it here.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
yeah, they do it here.
They're doing it right now.
But,
they need to do more of it because we're fucking dry.
They have all summer.
Yeah. But,
Go ahead.
like,
He interrupted
I
us.
don't think that there's no way you could physically do that, you know? But, like, I have a bunch of people come up to me all the time, and they're like, hey, since you're a meteorologist, can you make it rain this day? Because I know the government controls the weather. And I'm like, guys, it's like we don't. It's like we can't.
Listen.
I literally take my classes in the building where all of the weather alerts come from, in the National Weather Centers where all of my classes are.
Yeah, they think a 19-year-old young man at the University of Oklahoma has got enough pool to make it rain on a certain day. Let me tell you, y'all would have won a national championship in football the last 10 years if you had that kind of pool.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, listen to me. If you do have that kind of pool.
Well, he's a duck hunter. He wants to do the same thing we want.
Well, that's true, too.
Hey,
I'm glad you're in my corner. You're in my corner, and you're close enough to us that
there is a
vested
lot,
interest.
Like, a lot of the land that I hunt in Oklahoma, dude, I went and scouted, and there's no water in any of my ponds. Like, nothing. And I'm like, last year these ponds were 4 or 5 feet deep, and this year there's no water in them.
Yeah, we
like, this is not good.
We needed a hurricane to hit Brownsville, a rain-making hurricane, not a horrible one, and to come up to West Texas around Midland and then go straight north up to about Oklahoma City, where we'd get about an 8-inch rain is what we've been needing. And we've been needing it for a while. And we had a wet summer here, but it's going dry fast.
See, we did not have a wet summer in Oklahoma. Dude, I can't remember the last time it rained.
Yeah.
I stayed in Oklahoma all summer. And I literally, it rained like 2 times all summer, I swear.
Yeah, it's been a very weird year. Back to the temperatures. They're seeing specks in Kansas, which these are going to be calendar birds anyways. It's hot in the Dakotas. It doesn't look like a break. I look at Carrot River, Saskatchewan as one of my things I look at every day. And I looked at their 10-day forecast, and I think they're still in the 60s 10 days out.
Yep.
And it's not looking good for the start of season.
Yeah. Hey, I will say, I'm looking at this model right now, that CFS that I was looking at, and it's saying October 22nd, it might dip below freezing.
Oh, no shit.
Maybe.
Here?
Maybe.
In Oklahoma City?
No. In North Dakota.
Jesus
that's
Christ.
horrible. They used to have, I've seen them have blizzards up there in October.
Yeah, I know, which is terrible. It says, I mean, where y'all are around, it's 80 degrees for a high.
October 20th?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you 2 things. I'm going to the East Coast mid-October. It will be cool and rainy while I'm there. And
what are you going to the East Coast for?
we're old. We'll go look at the foliage.
They go look at leaves.
We're gonna go.
Nice.
We're gonna go to Stowe, Vermont, Maine, Boston, Salem, all kind of stuff. We do old folk stuff that you will be interested in about 30 years. Now,
Look, Maud, look at that leaf.
Andy is going to St. Lucia in 2 weeks.
10 days.
10 days. There is going to be a major fucking hurricane.
No, we'd already know about it.
No,
10 days
you
out?
No, you wouldn't. It's over though. It'd be in Africa still.
Yeah, it'd most likely be in Africa still. I mean, you're looking
It takes 6 days.
Yeah, you're looking days out.
In 5 days, if there's not anything coming, I'm good to go.
You just watch this.
Yeah.
There's going to be a miracle hurricane that's going to hit. Andy and them fuck up everything they do. So it's going to happen.
Is there any disturbance off Africa that I should be worried about right now?
It won't matter right now.
10 days out, there should be something.
It would be like in the next 2 to 3 days is when you would start to see something that would be worrisome. I mean, but you could always have something like the hurricane that just hit Louisiana. That literally started 2 days before it hit and became a Cat 5.
So it make you feel better?
2 days.
Just y'all don't fucking talk about it, and it won't happen. I mean, I don't understand why we've got to talk about this shit. If you just
hopefully it doesn't.
If you just don't talk about it and don't pay attention to the elephant in the room, then it's not a problem.
All right, we'll go with that.
I mean, shit. I got Harp on my side. They're gonna push something away. Because listen, you're not gonna tell us anyway. Even if there was a Harp, you're in the system, bro. You're part of the you're part of the machine, man.
I mean, right now you have Rose and Peter that are already hurricanes in the Atlantic, and then you have one disturbance off the coast right now.
He's part of the man. So how does cloud seeding work? Do you have any knowledge of that?
I have not. I don't take a clouds class until my junior year, so I don't really understand that stuff yet.
Because I think in Dubai, they make it rain there every single day at the same time. We're going to cloud seed, and then it's going to rain for so many minutes, it's crazy.
Do you want me to explain to you how it works?
Sure, please do.
They take, I think it's aluminum sulfate, and
that doesn't surprise me.
And they fly in that, and they shoot it into the clouds, and if there's any kind of moisture in it, it's not a guaranteed deal. But they've been doing it in West Texas and a lot of the Panhandle for all summer long. I know that. I know the city of Knox City didn't get in on it, but we paid for it for a couple of years. I mean, it's a legit thing. I don't know how much of it works and how much of it doesn't. We're going to switch to waterfowl now. We've talked weather enough.
Well, it's fucking all tied together.
So you love waterfowl. You've got an Instagram page called
Yes, sir.
Silva?
It's called Yes, sir, Silva.
Silva. Now, where did the name Silva come from?
Actually, came from a buddy at home.
Is he Mexican?
Nope.
Okay.
Just Silva.
He thought that's funny. We got Silvas that live here, and I thought that boy don't look Mexican. And then when Harry Potter answered the deal a minute ago on the Skype, I thought that damn sure boy ain't Mexican. I'm telling you. So, where all do you waterfowl hunt at?
Man, I do 99% of my hunting in Southwest Oklahoma. Now.
Whereabouts? Do you want to tell people?
Not really wanting to tell people.
How far? How far are you from where we hunt at up there?
3 hours to Knox City? I think.
No. We hunt in Southwest Oklahoma also.
Hobart.
Oh, really? I did not know.
We hunt around Hobart and Altus. We got a bunch of places.
Okay, so I'm not too far from y'all. I'm a little bit more east from y'all, but I'm around that area.
Oh, okay. I bet I know where he is.
I bet I have no clue, but I'm gonna guess a lot in that area.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
And maybe not.
Hey, if you're hunting on private land, it don't matter anyways. Let me tell you something.
That's true.
7 years ago, we were hunting in Hobart. We were the only people hunting around there. Now, there were some people hunting on their own, but there wasn't no outfitters around there. Now you can't throw a rock in the fucking pizza place at nighttime and not hit 7 guides.
See, that's the thing that I really like with where I'm at right now. I have a solid 30 by 30 square mile block that is just like mine.
That's good.
And nobody else hunts it, which is really nice. I might see a couple of high school kids here and there, but no guides, no anything like that, which is really nice. I'm not having to deal with anybody.
Well, you better take.
In my area.
I wouldn't be taking no pictures, and I wouldn't be telling nobody what you're doing because it won't take long, and there'll be everyone there. We hunt all private stuff, and we got everything tied up, so we're in good shape. But man, those guys that are day leasing up there every day. It's a freaking rat race.
See, that's the thing. I'm basically locked up completely with private in that area. I got in good with a couple of the farmers last year. And when I got in good with them, man, it was kind of just they were like, this is yours, use it. And I was like, sounds good.
So now let me ask you this. Is there a big enough bird population where if somebody did stumble upon it, they would be like, oh, fuck, this is where we need to be? Or is it kind of one of those deals where you found it and there's really only enough birds to sustain what you're doing?
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. You know, I'm gonna guide a couple days this year, really just to help me pay for just like my hunting expenses. You know, just random whatever. But there couldn't be a guide service that says, "Hey, I'm gonna hunt in this 30 by 30 mile block for every day for an entire season." There's just not enough birds to do that. You know.
Are you gonna be hunting people from Oklahoma?
Yes. I actually have some people coming from North Carolina
That's
too.
what I would do. My advice to you is I'd keep the out-of-state people, because those in-state people are going to be like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I have one group from Oklahoma that are coming, but they are not big waterfowl hunters
Yet.
They're the type of guys that have like a dozen floaters and like some Cabela's waders.
Now, is it mostly ducks, or is there geese also where you're at?
Man, it's a lot of widgeon and geese combos.
Oh, those are fun.
Those are good hunts.
I mean,
good hunts.
yeah, those are good hunts. Yeah, I mean, I ran across a field last year that probably had about, I don't know, 6,000 lessers and about 3,000 widgeon on it. You know, and that was a heck of a day.
Yeah, they're fucking stupid. Both of them are.
Yeah,
that was
the first time. That was the first time I had ever hunted widgeon in a field, and man, it wasn't even like they didn't even care. Like we didn't call or anything. Nothing. Got off the roost, came right over, and just right in. Didn't do anything.
Cotton tops and fat chicks. You know? They're both guaranteed to give it up.
So
sorry, you know.
He is in a Christian fraternity. Andy, be respectful.
I needed to watch myself.
Hey! I like the jokes.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know.
Well, you're on our podcast and you listen to it, so you know that anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bad thing is, it's not a joke. I've known a lot of fat chicks.
So your Instagram is pretty good. It's growing. It's very popular. You take a lot of good pictures, good content, and that's still what's your Instagram?
It's at Silva Waterfowl.
You pulling it up right now?
Yeah,
what are you doing, Jeff?
I was going to pull it up. I've got it on my deal. I just didn't look at it today.
So, I mean, with what you know about weather, I mean, can you look at things and, you know, kind of plan accordingly a little bit further out? Like, do you think that gives you an edge over us knuckle dragging waterfowl guides?
You know, I really think it gives me an edge because I am understanding when these birds are going to push and when they're not going to push. Like, I know a lot of guys that hunted last year. They're like, man, we have a 22-mile-an-hour wind tomorrow. It's going to be a great day. You know, these birds are going to absolutely eat it up, whatever, you know. And I'm like, yeah, you have a 22-mile-an-hour wind, but it's out of the south from a warm front. And I was like, these birds are going to hate it. Like, they're not going to enjoy, you know, that warm front coming up. Instead of it being, you know, 25, it's going to be 46 tomorrow morning. And a lot of people just don't understand that side of it, you know. A lot of them are just like, wind, you know. But I think I have an edge definitely looking at models and stuff. You know, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'll look at like the 7-day forecast on my local weather channel, which typically isn't the best, you know. But I'm looking 12 to 15 days out, you know, looking to see when those cold fronts are going to come through and when I think birds are going to push down in front of those fronts and behind those fronts, you know.
So let me ask you this: the Farmer's Almanac. Is that all horse shit? Like, where do they even come up with that?
Yes.
Horse shit.
It's literally like a lot of people buy the Farmer's Almanac book because they're like, man, my great-great-great-grandpa went by this, so it's got to be right. And, you know, I will say sometimes they just hit the nail on the head, but it's pure T luck. Like, it is just pure T luck.
Where do they even come up with their models?
Honestly, I'm going to guess that it's pure T luck.
I'm thinking they're on a cycle. What would we print in 1937? That's what we're going to do again this year.
Yeah. That's kind of how I look at it. Like they said like they say this year Farmer's Almanac, they're like, oh, it's going to be flip-flop weather all year, and then we're going to hit a polar vortex and it's going to be negative 50 degrees, you know. And I'm like, I just don't see, you know, it being
there's no science different on it at all. My dad used to talk about it all the time. Farmer's Almanac said.
Tony talks about it. We were going to look at a teal spot, and Tony's like, "Now you better get your cold weather gear out early because the Farmer's Almanac is telling us it's going to be a bad winter." And I'm like, I think it says that every year.
Mother Nature can give you a lot of clues on things. mesquite trees
Yes.
down here, they say if the mesquite trees bloom, your last freeze is over. If the mesquite trees have a lot of beans, that means something, supposedly. A guy the other day shot a skunk somewhere and it had a 1/4-inch fat on it. And he said that skunks will tell us what's going to happen. If you get a fatty skunk that's got a lot of fat, it's going to be a real cold winter. If it doesn't have much fat, it's going to be a lean winter. So I guess it depends which thing you believe in.
Yeah, but then it also depends on how big the skunk is and how old the skunk is, and that's just like, I
think people only look at evidence if it reaffirms what they want to see. Like, I shot a skunk, and whether you want to admit it or not, like, I shot a skunk, and maybe I want a cold winter, so like you see, oh yeah, it's got a 1/4-inch fat on it or whatever. You only see the signs kind of when you want to see them.
My prediction for weather is I think it's going to be a very mild winter because that's all we've had in the last freaking 15 years other than the cold front we had in February. I don't expect to have much winter. We're in that cycle, and until we have a cold front that's or a winter that's a cold front every 7 to 10 days like we used to have, I just don't see it happening. I can tell you this much. It's been a warm, miserable fucking September. And I'm expecting October's going to be about the same. We've had a gradual cool down. In the mornings, it's kind of nice. But what's going to be 101 today here?
104.
And then tomorrow, it's going to be 78.
80.
Yeah, that's the thing. Tomorrow, that cold front coming through tonight is going to be incredible. I am very excited for that. I think that's going to push a lot of birds in a lot of places.
I hope they bring suntan lotion because it's going to be freaking hot again by the weekend. The crazy thing is used to be when we got a front, we got rain, we got thunderstorms. We won't get any rain at all if we get anything on this. And this is it's killing us.
Hey, I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of. I think we'll see a lot of severe storms though in October because the atmosphere is so unstable. From not having anything, I think we're going to see a lot of severe weather in October.
I'm going to hold you to that, and I hope you're right.
Well, explain that. What do you mean? So, like, the atmosphere gets destabilized as you don't have these events?
Yes, yeah. And, when you have a very, very stable atmosphere, it might be great conditions, but having a stable atmosphere is not going to produce super well. But having a very unstable atmosphere is going to make you have a lot more severe weather.
But what destabilizes the atmosphere?
Pressure a lot of the times. And it's just any sort of like air partials or anything like that. Your condensation level in the sky, just anything like that is gonna change the stability of the air.
Well, I sure hope you're right. I can count on one hand how many times I tornado chased in the fall.
Yeah. I mean, I remember last year when I first moved to OU, I didn't chase one time, but because I just don't think there was anything last year in October. Everybody always says there's a second chase season in October, but I just don't think
very small.
Very small.
Let me ask you this: going to OU meteorology school, a high risk day, which I don't even think we had one last year. We had one a couple of years ago. On those. We had it.
Well,
I'm not going to. You can't see shit there. It's a good place to get killed chasing in the trees. But a high risk day in southwestern Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle. How many kids in meteorology school are going to actually be in class those days?
Everybody's skipping, including
the teachers.
Everybody's. Dude, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Probably like last year on the March 13th day, we. There was one of the people that works in the National Weather Center sent a picture of the parking lot, and it was like Chaser Convergence, and it was before all of us were leaving. There was like 200 cars in the parking lot, and it was during the middle of COVID, so they didn't have that many people working, so it was like way more cars than they had seen in such a long time, and like I mean realistically, everybody's gonna go chase those big days. That's why in the spring semesters. All of our meteorology classes for upper division classes are all in the morning, right. Like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. or earlier, because they know that we want to chase. Even though chasing is not condoned by the university, they know we want to chase.
It should be like extra credit.
They don't condone that shit, but their shit's in the middle of everywhere you go. So
Yep, that's the thing. So the biggest thing with us is we're not allowed to wear any OU gear or have any OU stickers on our car or anything OU related when we chase. Because they could be like, oh, OU student drives into tornado, you know, and that makes the university look really bad.
Right. OU meteorology student drives smack dab into the middle of an F5. See, I'm still old enough where I remember it was just the F scale. I don't know where you kids have come up with this new finagled EF scale. It's
EF5. Yeah.
You need to go back to listen, if you've got an F5 tornado bearing down on you, you don't need to waste time spelling out that other letter. It save lives. Go back to the F scale.
I've been chasing storms since 1987, 1988, and going all the time, just around Wichita Falls and stuff. And I've seen a huge increase in the traffic on the roads, and especially the last 15 years. And I tell people all the time, like I'll do videos of it, and they'll be like, "Where are all them people coming from?" That's how popular it is. On a big chase day, I've been in some lines that are 5 and 10 miles long, and we're talking 30-mile-an-hour traffic
minimum.
And we're going to have a huge incident. It's going to be horrible, but we're going to have a fatality accident where somebody is going to be looking on the side, looking at a tornado and plow into a bunch of people standing on the side of the road with cameras.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen at some point, which I hate to say, but I don't know if you remember April 23rd. That is the most well-documented tornado of all time, but it's solely because there was literally 4,000 chasers on the road that day, all on the same road.
People don't realize what it's like. They have no idea. And I'll take someone out with me for the first time, and they're like, "God, where'd all these people come from?"
Yeah,
exactly. I was at Memphis, Texas, probably 4 years ago, and Reed was still in the Dominator then. And we said, well, we're going to go out west of town and sit and park because it's just starting to have some clouds initiate. Nothing going.
Yeah.
We went to Sonic, got something to drink, something to eat, and we pulled there. And I even take lawn chairs with me sometimes because sometimes you'll sit for an hour or two. And we went out west of town, and we got to a clearing up on a hill. And I come around a bend, and a buddy's of mine's like, "God, what's going on up here?" I said, "Those are all chasers." There was guys playing with their drones and shit. There was 1,000 people parked at a four-way intersection, and a half mile in every direction, there was cars lined up. It looked like a damn rock and roll concert in the middle of nowhere. And that's people just don't. It's a very popular deal, and I guess OU's and you see college students from everywhere.
Yeah, we met some college students from Texas Tech last year, and then a lot of OU people.
OU kids are everywhere. You see them all, and they can say what they want to about no fucking caps and hoodies and shit, but I see a lot of OU garb on. But you're also in Oklahoma, so every Tom, Dick, and Harry goes to Walmart there, buys an OU sweater.
Now, what has led to this increased popularity? Is weather just easier to? I mean, it's on your phone all the time.
Social media, breed timber, but it's not a bad thing either. You know, like chasers are a huge part of the community because they are the first to know. They are the reason why these news networks know that tornadoes are coming and are spotted. You know, it's a huge thing, but it's really just social media that has really just blown it up. Right. You know,
I mean, it's just
everybody thinks they can go and chase tornadoes, even though a lot of people just don't understand it.
Now, let me ask you
the foreigners are the dangerous ones, though. And I don't mean this to sound racist, but...
Why, because they spread COVID?
No, because they don't pay a fucking attention to shit. They just park in the middle of the damn road. Oh. I jumped a guy's ass out from the Netherlands or somewhere about to cause a damn accident. They just stop in the middle of the road. They don't... I guess Europe is so much different than here, and there's a ton of Europeans that come over here to chase because they don't have them. Have you run into all the Chinese people in the big vans yet?
No, I have not. I have heard about them, but I've never run into them.
It's the best thing ever. They pull up and they all jump out. They're all taking pictures and shit. And there's not soul in there, and they all speak Chinese or Japanese or wherever they're from. Yeah. But they don't have tornadoes where they're at.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. China this year has been huge with tornadoes. That northwest side of China, I don't know why, but they have just had an insane year with tornadoes. And Italy. Italy yesterday had 4 tornadoes and 4 deaths.
Damn. Well, I bet you can go to China and chase, and I bet there's not a big line of people chasing storms there. I bet you can have it all to yourself.
No, but I also would be so much more scared to chase in China because literally it's like chasing in Mississippi. It's just trees, you can't see anything.
So let me ask you this, and this might be a tad controversial, but is there global warming?
In my opinion, from what I have learned in meteorology, I believe that, yes, it is a thing. Because of what I have learned.
You think it's man-made?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is man-made. Like, I really think the world goes through cooling and warming cycles. Like, we know this. You know, there's ice ages and then there's really, really hot ages, you know, which is 100% real. But I think that, like, the pollution that the Earth is producing is definitely causing a warming because of, you know, like the ozone layer is depleting from our pollution, which is causing the Earth to be warmer from the sun. So I definitely think it's a thing, but there's also warming and cooling periods of the Earth as well.
I'm going to debate this with you because how old are you, 19? You've never seen a cold winter. You've seen a cold snap like we had last year.
Yeah, I've seen a cold snap, but I've never seen a cold winter, especially growing up in North Carolina. I never saw cold winters. We haven't had much
of a cold winter in 20 years, so that's what I was going by. But you have an volcano erupt. Like Mount St. Helens did in 1982, 83, 84. I can't remember what year it was. 1980 maybe. But anyways, when St. Helens erupted, she put more CO2 gas in than we're going to combine for 10 years putting into the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, and I think it definitely is natural causes too, just from the Earth. I totally agree with that. And so
the politicians try to sell us this all the time, but they all, you know, Obama bought him a big old house on Marthas Vineyard. He wouldn't be buying a house on the ocean if he was thinking the ocean was going to raise 3 or 4 feet, and all the polar ice caps they tell us. So I think they're trying to sell us some bullshit, but man is not good for the world. I'll give you that for sure. I mean, I would agree with that.
But now I'm going to push back on that. We only found out what we were doing to the Earth about 50 years ago.
Yeah, Lord, probably later than that. Probably like 20. To realistically, what we were doing 20 years ago.
Let's not, you know, yes, we do pollute the Earth and everything, but I think when we finally found out what we were doing, we've corrected a lot of courses.
We have,
you know, and let's also not get this twisted. Mother Nature is doing her absolute damnedest to kill us all the time. So,
well, we get griped at for cutting down the rainforest, but
there's more trees now than there's ever been.
But we produce more oxygen from the corn we plant in the United States of America than any of the rainforest does.
Yeah,
and they don't talk about that. I'm not going to debate the fact that we have that's global warming of some sort, climate change, whatever you want to call it. But I don't think as much of it is man-made as we get credit for. I don't think you can control the weather, and if anybody wants to argue that with me, get up in an airplane and fly at about 36,000 feet and look out your window, and you really honestly think that you're going to affect all that up there. It ain't happening.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think that, you know, it's put out more to than like what we actually do, but I definitely still think it's there.
You know, and I think plastic is not good for the environment, but I don't know what an answer is.
Tell you what's also not good. I got one fucking fly.
It's a shit-eating fly. That's why it's bothering me.
It's like buzzing me, and I can't kill it.
Yeah.
And I do think we've overpopulated this Earth. I think the Earth was a whole lot better when we had 100 years ago, population-wise.
Oh yeah, that's like why my generation, a lot of people are like not having kids in my generation now. And like one thing that I mean this in like the best way, but our generation is screwed with Social Security.
I've said that before also.
Like literally like there's not going to be a Social Security.
2034 it's supposed to be broke. It wouldn't be broke if they do what they're supposed to with it. But
yeah.
You're 19 years old. Jeff. You don't need to be having kids anyway.
Now, hold on, Jeff.
What?
You're saying that we've overpopulated this Earth.
We have.
Who are you going to ask to leave?
I didn't say we was going to leave anybody. We just need to quit having so many damn kids.
So you think we should go to like a China policy where they can have one boy?
I didn't say that we need to institute a policy.
I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't.
You're being part of the problem because all you're doing is throwing out this issue, but you're not giving me any solutions.
The problem
That's called you're not giving me anything.
Okay, I'm going to give you
that
something
you
right
think
here.
Will rectify it.
I'm going to tell you right now one of the problems, we got thousands of problems. One of the problems is the people that are not assets in our country or in our world are the ones having all the fucking kids.
So we should ask. So I'm asking you, what can we do to curtail that? Do we tell these people if you're on government?
Tell the Democrats to quit fucking all the time and having kids. That's the best thing happened to our country.
Okay, Jeff, you're not being realistic here.
Well,
but that's okay.
You asked me the problem. The problem is the people that keep having all the kids are the ones that are the problem in this country.
I did not ask you what the problem was. I said, how are you going to fix it? And if there's too many people on this earth, who do we ask to leave?
Oh, I don't know that we ask leave. I think it's going to take care of itself because these young generations, like he said, they're not having kids anymore. and that's going to happen more and more. I saw that in Japan or China that they've really dramatically dropped off on the amount of people that are having babies over there.
That's because they can't. That's because they went to this policy that you could only keep the boy. So there's nobody to breed with over there. That's why you're not seeing any more kids.
Those people aren't having kids no more. They're having virtual sex instead of real sex.
Because for an entire generation, they only let you keep the boy. They were throwing girl fetuses in the trash can.
Well, go down to Australia because it's the opposite there. They got more women than men.
So now they can't find a suitable mate in China. That's why you're not having kids. You don't have a fucking population of girls.
Well, that's fine.
That's fine. Perfect.
I'm telling you right now, I don't know. There's so many problems in the world, but we have overpopulated this earth. I'm sure we have caused some changes in things. Back in the 1800s, they had well water, and there were springs everywhere across the Midwest. You don't see that anymore. We've tapped into all the water and the wells and everything else we've done. We have definitely hurt this rock because we have overpopulated it. And I think everybody would agree that there's too many, that the population is way too much.
I think we just overuse our resources way too much. I mean, like, there's so much food on the earth that just gets wasted and thrown away like that as well. You know, I feel like there's just so much that we do that like could help us, but we just choose not to, I guess.
You think 1900 Dodge City, Kansas, they weren't throwing away food every day? No.
I think it would be a lot better than
I doubt there was very much waste at all.
Right.
Yeah,
do you have they ever had a course where they talk about the aquifers and stuff and how we've, put every well or every straw into the drink?
You know, we kind of talk about it in our like weed out intro to meteorology class. But I think that one thing they really talk about is like how a lot of people just think we overuse the earth, and overuse what we have. I mean, that kind of goes back to, we were talking about pollution with all these like battery operated electric cars now. But what people don't know is the mining for that lithium for those batteries is causing just as much as regular old gas would,
And that's another thing is, everybody wants to put on these regulations for North America, but then you've got countries like Russia or China that are not playing. They're playing by, let's do this by any means necessary.
Or Mexico.
Yeah. So if you're not going to get the global stage on board, you're kind of shitting uphill you're just hurting yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But Jeff, quite insensitive towards population problem.
Why?
You just are. You're just an ass.
For the record, I'm on the record as saying if we had less Democrats in this country, we would be a whole lot better off. Okay, shoot me. It's true. Are you disagreeing with that? No.
That's ugly.
All of our places in this country that are shitholes are all liberal ran.
Yeah, but you need them.
For what?
You got to balance it out.
Yeah. We're overbalanced. That's our problem right now. So you come from North Carolina. You moved to the most conservative state in this country because Oklahoma is the most conservative state. Every county voted red. A lot of great people in Oklahoma and a few dumbasses. You like going to Oklahoma? Do you like going to OU?
Dude, I absolutely love it. I just love Oklahoma as a state.
It's a good place.
Honestly. It is. And, OU's great. Football's great. It's a lot better than Texas. Horns down always.
Y'all's coach is from Texas, isn't he?
I don't think.
He is. He's from out in the Panhandle. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Texas Tech first.
Guns up, baby.
Didn't Baker Mayfield? Isn't he from Texas?
Yeah, Baker's
Kyler
from
Murray
Texas.
from Texas?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Isn't
he's from
Jalen
Texas
Hurts
as
from
well.
Texas? Okay, just wanted to
Yep.
make a point right
What
there
about
to you.
Spencer Rattler, Jeff?
He's from Arizona.
Yeah, he's from
He's
Arizona.
not as good as them other three, though. I don't think.
Yeah, I think talent-wise he's as good, but he doesn't have the swagger on campus that like Baker had. Baker on OU's campus was like, you know, he had the swagger, but he had the means to back it up too. But like Spencer doesn't have that on campus, you know. He just goes and plays football. He doesn't have like the campus.
Here's why.
Vibe.
If Baker, Kyler, and Jalen weren't playing football, they'd have still been pulling in 9s and 10s. If Spencer Rattler didn't play football, he couldn't get a date with a 3.
Hey, I'm not gonna say yes to that, but I don't not agree. It's hilarious. There's a lot of people on campus that talk about that.
He's not an attractive man by any means.
He can play football, though.
He is a good football player. I'm not taking nothing away from him.
He can play football.
Adrian Peterson, where's he from? Texas.
He is.
Billy Sims from Texas. Brian Bosworth from Texas. So just wanted to go ahead and point all that out there.
Hey, Oklahoma this year apparently has a lot of really good high school recruits. So we'll see what comes out of Oklahoma.
But y'all are going to recruit all y'all's kids from Texas like y'all always do. And there's nothing wrong with that.
You're not wrong.
I like Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma is great people. If I had to pick a big metropolis to live in, it would be Oklahoma City. I've said that many times. It's a good place. There's nothing wrong with Oklahoma at all. It's a whole lot better than Arkansas.
So let me ask you this. When you finally finish school, are you wanting to stay in the Oklahoma area, or what do you want?
I'm guessing he's going to say yes.
I'm going to stay somewhere that has good
waterfowl and tornadoes.
Waterfowl and tornadoes, which Oklahoma, Kansas, those are great places, you know. And the thing is, if I decided to go into broadcast, you know, I'm going to have to go somewhere with a bigger market, you know. I can't go to, you know, BFE, Kansas, you know, and try to be on a news station there, you know. So I think I'm going to end up staying in, like, you know, Lawton, Oklahoma City, maybe Kansas City, you know, Wichita, somewhere in that area, you know. And honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to going to Texas
you said
either.
Lawton, Oklahoma. That's not really a big metropolis.
Yes,
well, it's bigger.
It is not, but it has a lot of
What about
viewers.
Omaha, Nebraska?
Maybe. I feel like that's a little bit too far north for me. I still need some warm weather.
Have you been to Lawton, Oklahoma much? And you actually would choose to live there?
I would not live there. I would work there.
That is the ghetto of Oklahoma.
Oh, like literally, they call it the Shady 580 for a reason.
Shithole for sure. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I mean that is literally like that town is a place to say the least. I mean, I don't know. Last year, at the end of the season, it was like 2 weeks left. I really needed to go. We were about to shoot big geese, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go get some 3-inch BBs. Couldn't find any anywhere. You know, I go to this random pawn shop. And I was scared to death. I was literally in like the shadiest part of Lawton. But they ended up having 3-inch Winchester BBs, but I had to freaking pay like $36 a box.
That's a good price now.
Who the fuck is pawning off their shot
shit,
shells?
That's what I'm right now you could get a bunch for them though.
No shit, because we got a whole lot of cases back there. If I get strapped for cash, we're gonna send those to a pawn shop.
Man, I freaking wish that I could find ammo. I have been looking for so long, and the problem is everywhere around here has a limit. You know, like the local Cabela's and Bass Pro up in Oklahoma City are like 2 boxes
Take some
per
of them
person.
Christian boys with you in your frat and go get you about 10 cases.
Yeah, I know. That's what I need to do. Well, the problem is that you can't even buy. I mean, I'd have to take 100 people there to get five
now, hold
cases.
on. You listen to the podcast. How long have I been saying that you need to go buy shells?
Oh, I know, and I have been looking.
Go to Boss.
So June. Oh, I bought Boss, and then they ran out of 20 gauge.
I think they might have more now.
Really? Oh, dude, if they have more now, I'm definitely gonna buy some more.
Do it before this comes out.
I'll text Brandon right now.
Yeah, because I tried to get on staff with them, but I just didn't get anything back.
I don't know if they have a staff per se.
We're not on staff either, but we're on first names with them, so they take care of us. They're a great sponsor for us.
Oh, dude, I mean they're an
Yes,
incredible
they are.
company, and I love their stuff. You know, I bought 2 cases of 20 from them that I have right now. And I mean, I absolutely love. I shot them at resident geese a couple weeks ago, and man, they did the job. I mean, I was shooting 30, 40-yard shots at big resident geese with a 20 gauge, and I mean, just putting them down. You know, I'm super excited to use them.
They're a good
this
company,
year.
good, very good friends of ours. We have a great relationship with them. They are good people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I
Are
totally.
you a waiter
agree.
guy?
Dude, I have never. I mean, growing up in North Carolina, I had waders because of just hunting in swamps, shooting wood ducks and stuff. But man, I don't just about ever use them in Oklahoma anymore.
That's good.
Just when we hunt
Dry
farm
hunting
ponds.
is so much better, isn't it?
I totally see. In North Carolina, dry hunting isn't a thing.
Right.
Like ducks don't go in fields because we shoot 2 wood ducks, and that's an incredible day. You know, I love the dry hunting aspect of it. Once I really got into it, I was like, man, this is exactly what I need to do. You know, this is like what I love. But you know, I had a sponsorship with Gator Waders in the past. Loved their product and everything, but ended up not working out. Kind of got away from them.
Shin gear.
Yep, being a college student, I can't afford $1,500 waders, but I wish I could.
They have
I would
product. They
I
have
would do
product
anything.
now. If you want some shin gears, you need to jump on them right now. You know,
I know.
there's a lot of older people that are going to be really jealous of you that's listening to this podcast. You're a very smart young man, and you're following your passion. And you like to chase storms, you like meteorology, and you like waterfowl hunting. And so you've went to university, and you know at 19 years old that you want to live somewhere like that. There's so many people out there that want to live somewhere, would like to move because that's their passion, and they get caught on later in life, and they can't do it till they retire. So I want to wish you the best in that, because I am very proud for you, and you're a very, very nice young man. And if I had a daughter, I would want her to bring home a little plump version of Harry Potter like you are. And
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, seriously.
A little bit like a backhanded compliment. Sounded like
Well,
on
it's
this,
a-
on
it
this
is a-
end, but
Hey,
it's a
I'll-
compliment.
Hey, it's
He's
good.
He's a nice kid, or
So-
young man, I should say.
I wish we would have talked about Boss a little bit sooner. I don't know if Brandon's going to text back that fast. So, if he texts back, I'll have Jeff let you know, yay or nay.
Yeah,
on-
He
please
on
do.
told
the
me
Twitter
the other
pages.
day that, let me tell you exactly what he said.
I know it's getting real out there as far as like the shortage.
Yeah, I mean it's wicked, man.
He's-
It really is.
He said, we are a month out from being out of stock for about 3 weeks. And that was last week. So you got a couple weeks to get you some shells, and they're going to be out for a little bit again.
Because I did look
All
on
right,
their
I
website and
will.
it says that they're out. So
So they might be out.
Yeah, I just looked at their website and it said they were out of 20
it
gauge.
says they're out of. I looked up 12 gauges also.
Yeah,
So
everything. Yeah,
it's a
they're
good
out of
problem to
everything.
have. I mean, if you're in business, you want people buying
Oh
your
yeah,
shit. So
absolutely.
I know that
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that they wish they could get more of the stuff that they need to make
Yeah,
shotgun
more.
shells. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Though snow goose is
Absolutely.
going to be a huge situation come snow goose season.
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of guys that
Mm-hmm.
don't listen to podcasts because the podcast is the new news now. That's where you get all your information anyways. That
Mm-hmm.
don't listen, that are going to have no clue. And then in January, they're going to be looking for shells. I'm like, gosh damn, can't get no shells.
Yeah, because there's a lot of guys that snow goose hunt that don't do
Right,
any
that's
other
right.
waterfowl hunting other than snow goose hunting. You know, they're gonna like not even realize they're gonna go out and they're gonna be like, man, I used to be able to come and buy 4 cases here, and now I can buy 2 boxes, and there might not even
Not
be
this
2
year.
boxes.
Better plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, it has been a pleasure talking to you today. I hope that you're wrong. I hope that your forecast. I hope we get a hard winter. I hope it hits early, it stays in, and lots of snow up north. And listen, if you're shocked by it, it'll be a good day for waterfowl hunters. But
I hope I'm wrong too.
I'm kind of on your page also. You know, just I think it's gonna be like last year.
Hey, you tell Reed to go ahead and set aside a seat for me, okay?
Ah.
Dude, I will. I'll
All right.
I'll text
I appreciate it, bud. Thank you very much. God bless you,
him. Yes.
and God bless Oklahoma. You
See you,
bet.
bud.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
I got fast fucking hands today, Jeff.
I'm telling you, if I had a daughter, that would be my dream kid right there.
I thought Blake Poppy was.
Well, I was just being nice to Blake.
Oh,
I would let my daughter date Blake. I like Blake. Blake would be a lot of fun. I didn't really want him having sex with her, but I'd like him to be around her.
Just pile driving her every night.
That kid right there is a good American kid right there. If you got a daughter who's about 18 years old, you need to set her up with him because he would make you a good son-in-law. I'd have all kinds of stuff to talk to about that boy.
Yep.
But I guess if he was marrying my daughter, she really wouldn't give two shits what I wanted to talk to him about.
Nope.
And she would be a fan of mine about like like your wife is sometimes. And Jessie loves me 99% of the time, but 1% of the time she's not real happy with Judge. All right, let's get off of here. Hope everybody has a good week. God bless y'all. Be safe.
Go check out all of our wonderful sponsors. If you need shotgun shells, you better get on the ball. Call them up at Boss Shot Shells, Dirty Duck Coffee, Lucky Duck, Dive Bomb Industry Specific Calls, Shin Gear Waiters, Eyesight Drone Service, Bangtail Whiskey, Goose Creek Retrievers, Gun Dog Outdoors, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, and Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.